Good evening. I'm John Falsetti from Maryville Academy, and you're watching Maryville Cares on CAN TV. We're also streaming live on cantv.org/hotline. Today I'm with Juan Espeso. He's our PGA professional over at Maryville Academy, and we're going to talk a little bit today about how golf and youth mix in the Chicagoland area, I should say, and some options for youth in Chicago to get involved in golf. So Juan, today, if you want to bring up some of the items that we were talking about earlier today about the different options and things of that for youth in Chicago, we could bring up your item here that if you want to talk about this PGA Junior League a little bit.
Sure. It's first of all, I'm honored to be here. It's great to be part of the Maryville CAN TV. The first thing I'd like to share is this PGA Junior League is ran by PGA golf professionals, and there's 822 of those professionals in the state running golf facilities, and the resource there is unbelievable. The key I see is if you can get to the website and look at PGA Junior League, type in your zip code, and it's going to give you in a radius of maybe 10 miles or 20 miles, whatever you pick, a facility that's running this program. And what it amounts to, it's a beginner entry-level competitive type fun environment. It has expert coaches from the PGA and the LPGA, and they have training sessions, and then they have competitive rounds that the kids play in.
Excellent.
And what I like about it a lot is that it's 3 holes, scramble format, best shot, and the kids take their best shot and they play 3 holes, win, tie, or lose, and then they start another match for the next 3 and the next 3. And
what's the age group for?
Well, there's under 16 and under 13, so there's 2 different leagues,
Okay.
2 different age groups. But what I really want everybody to know is go to your local golf course, seek out the golf professional in the area, and he can guarantee you getting into the game.
Okay. I'm going to bring up something else here, and we'll talk about some of these items here. The first one is the first tee. We went through the PGA Junior League. I brought some links up for golf instruction links and then some scholarship links.
Sure.
Let's talk about those a little bit, and then let's talk about really what golf, from your perspective, being the professional here at Maryville Academy, and how it's really helped some of these kids. So
Sure.
if you want to talk about the first tee.
I do. First tee of Chicago, and they've got one in Waukegan. They're a wonderful organization. I kind of call them the Boy Scout type format. Their emphasis is really on a lot of life skill treatments. Integrity, honesty, some of the values and morals that are inside the game.
Right.
They bring it to light and make it part of a large part of their curriculum, and golf comes along, as a second part of their
Sure.
of their teaching. Mm-hmm. Who else do we have up there?
Okay, let's start. Yeah, I know it's a little further away from you. There's also the drive, the chip, and putt organization.
This is fairly new, and it gets a chance for children to compete, and they end up at Augusta National for the Masters for the final round. But
You know what? I'm gonna put these up for when we're talking, so folks at home they could write down these websites.
That's wonderful. The drive, chip, and putt, exciting. It came off the pump, pass, and kick that was in football, and I think the Major League Baseball has something as well. Play 60 for football, but the golf side of it, they have local qualifying rounds, and truthfully, I would recommend parents to try to train their children in how to drive the ball, how to chip the ball, how to putt the ball, and again, seek out family members that play, or maybe you seek out a family friend or grandfather or anyone that you know that's in the game. And golfers are an interesting group. They really like to pay it forward because they get so much enjoyment out of the game that if you ask that family member to go along on a golf day, you're going to walk out there with a different perspective of what the game is.
And golf is another thing, unlike football or something like that, that once you learn it young, you could play all the way into your golden years, right?
Well, yeah, as a child, I used to play, I wrestled, I played football, I swam, I dove, I played soccer, and golf was my non-contact sport. And it was me against the golf course, and then I had a team that went along with it, which was a lot of fun.
Excellent. All right. Let's talk about the couple other items, these scholarship links. Okay, we have well, you could talk about both of them.
Oh,
right?
I'd
we
love
got
to.
the Murphy one, and we have the Evans.
Oh yeah,
Chick Evans.
I'm also a WGA director, which is the Chick Evans Scholarship here in Chicago, where Chick was at Northwestern and ran out of money, and had to quit school. And as soon as Chick Evans got out of that situation, got back into school and graduated, he vowed that no one would ever have that situation again. And by God's grace, there's 10,000 children that are fully scholarshiped into college today thanks to the WGA. And there's 4 pillars of the WGA that are that the scholarship is based on. And one, you absolutely have to be a great student, so work hard on your grades. The second piece is that you are a hard-working caddy, where you have 140 times around the golf course in a couple years at a minimum, and a recommendation from the club saying that you are a really hard-working kid. And the second one, or the third piece, is that you're a community leader. That you are in robotics, you send seeds to Africa, a variety of things. One was one who was studying to be a nurse was in a children's hospice.
Excellent.
Volunteer. So you look at that, and then the fourth piece that the family is financially needs it.
Sure.
But I see those type of pillars as a really strong development for any child. We just completed the spring training of caddies, pre-spring training. And out of Maryville, we got, with other organizations, we had about 93 kids ready to caddy for this summer.
Excellent.
So look for that one next year towards February, so that you get registered at a club, and by April 1st, you should be ready to train with the club on how to caddy.
Okay, so with there's scholarships through these golf organizations, but they're not necessarily golf scholarships, right? I mean, they're academic scholarships, and if they've been only caddies, and if they're only caddies, they could still go to this. They could still apply for it and win and be able to go to college.
John, the biggest thing is education in this country is critical.
Right.
And any time that I see a program that is based in scholarships that are educationally based, you've got a really strong lead there that the child typically will fall into. There's the other group is the Daniel Murphy group, and the Daniel Murphy Scholarship Fund. I started working with them in 2004, and an organization that has close to 400 kids in Chicago on full scholarship to some of the strongest educational schools in the city. And it's based entirely in need. They have about 80 kids who caddy in the summer, and the Evans has a house, a caddy house in Northwestern, and it's a caddy academy where girls and boys are gonna stay there for the summer and caddy every day. So, and they're on their way. They get their high school scholarship, and then they get their, potentially their college taken care of. So
It's an excellent opportunity for these kids.
oh, it's a game changer.
So we really want the people in Chicagoland to be able to take advantage of this stuff. Let's talk a little more of, some of the details of some of these items. We'll look at this drive, chip, and pup that you talked about, all right? The ages, locations, how much does it cost? How do parents sign up their kids for this kind of thing?
What you want to see is the drive, chip, and putt. Go to the website. Illinois PGA Foundation is running it, and I want you to know that they'll list out all the local qualifying rounds, and that one's a free deal.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. The PGA Junior League, same thing, ages, locations, scholarships available.
The
website.
what's interesting on that one, John, is that there is a cost involved. There's you get training, you get course access, you get practices, you get clothing, you get uniforms. So there is a cost involved. It varies program to program from the different golf courses. But what you're going to see is those prices are there. Now, there's a scholarship that's been set up by Dick's Sporting Goods.
Okay.
And the PGA matched that. Now, if there's financial need, or if you find yourself that you would like to notify the golf professional that's running it, and they'll submit your name, and a coupon will come back where the fee will be waived.
Great.
Yeah, and right now I've got, Providence St. Mel and Christ the King and the Salvation Army Croc Center down on 119th Street. It looks like we're in the formation of those
good.
teams.
So we have some avenue for these kids, and then if there's families that have some need, right? We could. There's some avenues for them to get some funding.
There's funding there.
Okay. It looks like we have a caller that they'd like to bring up.
Wonderful.
Hello.
Hi. Yeah, you're with John and Juan from Maryville.
Oh, hi, John and Juan. So I've been listening, and I want to know if there are scholarships available, which I think I just heard you say. Are they all need-based, or are there some academic scholarships or some athletic scholarships if my child has shown some sort of particular prowess? With golf, what sorts of scholarships are available specifically?
What?
How old's your child?
Well, he's 12.
He's 12 years old. Good. Is he in the city?
Yes.
Awesome. What I can tell you is the colleges are looking for players. Now, when I talk about scholarships, these are education related, getting your school paid for. If you're take a look at the Daniel Murphy scholarship to start, and the play time. Maryville stands for keeping kids out of harm's way. And the way we do that is giving them a safe environment with good coaches, and the CYO program. It takes care of basketball and track and cheerleading, and gives kids activities so that they're have a safe place to go play in the summer that's supervised. And what I can tell you is if I like a child, focus on education first, and if he's athletic, at 12 years old, I recommend play all the sports and enjoy being a kid. Specialize a little later, and just keep smiling.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for the call. Let's go down to a couple other these programs. I think we did not talk about the First Tee of Chicago as far as ages, locations, how much it costs.
You know, I went on their website and I took a look and I saw a lot of around $75 to enter their kids into their programming, and they start young. I've seen 3-year-olds, out there, and
No, that's fun.
it's fascinating. We're in the midst of planning a little train, it's called, in Chicago, and it's gonna work with the 3 to 5-year-olds, and hopefully we'll have that running by the end of the summer. But it's exciting to get early intervention to children. I think all the studies have shown if you get in there early, they stand a better chance of going the right direction.
Yeah, it keeps them busy. It kind of gets them out of their neighborhoods in the city and out into a little fresh air and some open space.
Right? And John, the PGA Junior League, all this is really under development. There was only 6 teams in Chicago. And with that many kids, I see the potential to be really high. Now we're in the process of getting coaches and people who like the game to be involved, and go through the background checks and get the teams established, and we should do a pretty nice job with this.
So one other a quick question here. By and large, me myself, kind of think about golf as being a sport that is considered a rich man's sport. What do you have to say about that? If a kid wants to get a set of golf clubs, if he wants to be able to go knock it around, he wants to go somewhere in Chicago that's not going to cost his parents an arm and a leg, what would they do?
John, I came out of that when I was a kid, and the truth was the model that worked for me, I fell in love with the game, and once I fell in love with the game, I found the way to pay for the game. And I had a bike with 5 clubs on my bag, or on my bike, and I'd mow 1 yard in the morning, and I'd use the $7 I made, and I'd go play all day. And it was like that every day. I had 7 yards, and I found it. And later, I made, in 7th grade, there was a teacher that took us out after school, and that's a resource. If you look inside your schools, elementary and high school, there are teachers who love this game and would love to share it with you. If it gets strong enough grassroots support, there's a good chance there's a program going to be established, a golf club in those schools. Now, I've been all over the city for 24 years teaching in all different populations. And John, if I told you that it's a rich man's sport, well, there is that part of it.
Sure.
You go up the North Shore and it's beautiful.
But no, just because you're rich doesn't mean that's exclusive to you playing golf. So you could play golf with your 5 clubs and you go out to the county course or something.
And, a coffee can with a flag in it made, in a field, it works. And then we have the Billy Casper Management Company running the city, Chicago Park District golf courses, Marquette Park, Columbus Park, Waveland, Sidney Maryville, Black, South Shore and Jackson Park, which is really in the news now, with maybe a new golf course going with Tiger Woods down there. There's plenty of places, and then the Cook County has a string of golf courses.
Right.
That's ran by Billy Casper, and you're going to see normal people, right? Not rich.
Right. I'm not we know each other a little bit.
Right.
I just golf a few times a year, and I'm not very good out there, but I enjoy it when I'm out there, and it's just kind of to have fun and get some fresh air and just enjoy the game. Now, you brought up something earlier about the schools kind of being a venue for this, that you could find someone in the school. So our parents, am I thinking that maybe encouraging the parents in the PTA to say, why don't we talk about golf? Why don't we try to get a small group together? And is there anybody on staff or here at the school that could help with that. Is that an avenue?
It's wonderful, yeah. At one time I had 31 schools, elementary schools playing, and they'd come 120 kids a night, and we had camps.
Wonderful.
And we made the golf clubs at Maryville and handed them out, and it was just a good energy. And but as funding got cut back,
Right.
golf was one of the sports that they discontinued. And and those coaches are still out there. That's what I see, and I still am in touch with a few, that want to keep. And they're going into the YMCA's. They're finding avenues. The saying in Spanish is "water always seeks its own level." It's gonna keep rising, and it's gonna find a place to grow. But I'm a firm believer of grassroots initiatives. I like people to go to the local golf course, find out who the golf professional might be, and ask them what kind of programming you have for our age group. Another one dear to my heart is the Special Olympics. There's 200 athletes that play golf, and Special Olympics is having their 50th birthday this year in Soldiers Field, July 21st. And Maryville is helping them with running the golf exposition for the day. And so if you have a special needs child, make it to July 21st, and you'll see a network of community there.
Oh, excellent.
That they can maybe play.
And we only have a few minutes left, so we're going to wrap up a little bit. But I've seen you in action with these kids. You've done great work here at Maryville with them. I've seen you with some kids that you've mentioned that it's kind of some life lessons on patience. Obviously, I could use a little more of that on a golf course. Patience, perseverance, all those kind of things come around, and to be able to teach that at a young age, I imagine, is something more than a lot of kids don't never get.
John, the framework of golf, respecting the fellow player, being quiet and still, calling your own penalties. You're your own referee. Those value sets are basically there in the game.
Excellent.
And so if I can get kids to get down the fairway and play together, all those values come in. The other beautiful thing about a golf course, it's typically screened, or it's right? There's adults that are around.
We got about 30 seconds.
Adults that are all around, and also I see traffic and noise in Chicago, the buzz, all the way around the golf. I call it the sanctuary, the little island, which really helps kids calm down and take a break from it all.
Great. Well, we really appreciate you coming out. I put this screen up here. A lot of information came out in this 25 minutes or so. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email maryvillegolf@maryvilleacademy.org. Again, it's maryvillegolf@maryvilleacademy.org. So we're going to wrap up right now. Juan, we really appreciate you coming out. It was wonderful.
I loved it.
Your program, is amazing, what you're doing with these kids, and we look forward to more of the kids coming out from Chicagoland.
Here, here.
All right.
Thank you, John.